Good afternoon, everyone. We are SAS AI, a startup company from Pune, and we are pitching here the solution which is useful for oncology clinical operations from end to end. So we are into the space where we provide the AI-based drug discovery assistance to the entire value chain of pharma. But what we see opportunity in collaboration with Yashoda, as we know, to deploy any tool in real life, in oncology space particularly, data is the bottleneck. So we see this opportunity to have the real-time data from the oncology hospitals and to utilize that data to train our AI/ML model where we have our expertise in. So to begin with the problem, what we have in the oncology operations, I'm sure the room is filled with the oncologist. We have the problem of data, oncologist and the patients and entire value chain being drowned into the data, whether it's histopathology reports, NGS reports, or treatment history and whatnot. So the solution would be, and impact for that would be, hours are spent, and it's a reported thing that oncologists and in general hospitals are spending more time into the operations part of it rather than giving it to patients. And I'm not undermining the volume of the patients which Indian oncologists and in general pathologists handle. So our solution is intelligence platform, which will have four modules. First one is record summarization, tumor board copilot, biomarker and NGS intelligence, and clinical trial matching. In our previous submission, we have already details in little bit of significant details what are these four products modules are. I will quickly give the impact of all those products cumulatively or the modules cumulatively. We have 70% reduction in record review efforts, and this is coming up by the market research which we have done for the similar kind of product line. Then faster treatment decisions and better precision medicine adoption and improved clinical trial enrollment. So our advantage over global, there are no tool in India deployed at this level which gives the end-to-end solutioning to oncology related data volume and data operations related to that. But if you compare that with the solutions which are available outside of India, they are mainly using the standardized data. If you walk in the hospital in Hyderabad or any metropolitan city inside India and same kind of patient walks into the Europe or America, the situation is entirely different. They start with their social security number. That's where their data structure level is, whereas the situation in India is completely different. So our approach is Indian-centric, and our NLP models will be trained on that, as well as these are all the consideration based on the fact that India has the fragmented database, non-standard reports, and very, very high volume of patients. So coming to the business model, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to show this, but definitely I will show this because this kind of questions will come up, how exactly we are going to deploy something which is not already there, especially in Indian oncology. So the revenue model will be starting from deployment of this SaaS product, which will deal with these four modules, and it will be the phase-wise deployment. So the revenue recognition will be also phase-wise. So what we are exactly asking is for 2 CR of the seed funding, and this is out of the consideration that we are at the startup level and scaling will be the big issue for us, and that's where we want Yashoda as well as the esteemed investors and the networks to be partnered with. We can go into the details of the numbers, but with interest of time,
maybe you can actually spend more time on your model.
Fantastic. Okay. So these are the four modules which we propose in our proposal. First one is record summarization. It will take the unstructured data of any format. It can be the handwritten notes from oncologists, which they generally write on the run to check the patients, and in which the state of their mindset is in very much hurry. They have to see a lot of patients in limited set of time. So all this unstructured data can be summarized and utilized for building the intelligence platform, and there is something called as a federal learning. It's called a real-time learning when our data gets enriched and our models become smarter and smarter to give the more accurate predictions or the recommendations, which the entire motive of this entire proposal is. Tumor board copilot, I will come to this point later because this is in tandem with the biomarker and NGS intelligence. So biomarker and NGS intelligence, so why I have separated this biomarker and NGS? Because not all the oncology patients in India, they do the NGS analysis. There is so much associated with this, whether the finances, whether the operations difficulty, there are not too many NGS systems for the diagnostic part of it. But all these biomarker related data, it can start from your simple blood test to NGS, which is considered as the high-end diagnostic tool. All this data will be captured onto one single platform, and that will be utilized for making the tumor board, which is our second module into the proposal, which will have a tumor board basically will utilize all the information from first three modules. And fourth module, which is clinical trial matching, that will be the USP of this product, and there is so much of intellectual which goes into this. Is we are going to predict what clinical trials your patients, oncology patients, can be enrolled in when it comes to the challenging cancers, where Indian patients basically they do not have the access to global clinical trial. Very profound bottleneck for that is we do not fit into the inclusion criteria, and there is not too much of the data from the patients which is available, based on which we can calculate the inclusion and exclusion criteria of the ongoing clinical trials for the drug modalities which are having the high hopes, like antibodies, monoclonal specific antibody, bispecific antibodies. So with this tumor boarding and entire clinical trial matching module, we definitely increase the chances of Indian cancer patients to get into the global clinical trials. When we were doing our research in-house, then we got to know that fortunately chains like Yashoda and other oncology chains in India, they are actually associated with the global clinical trial running agencies. So this module will facilitate enrollment into those kind of global clinical trials, which is another ray of hope for the patients inside India who are fighting with the cancers and who are right now far from the modalities of the drug, which is kind of more efficient rather than your just chemotherapy or small molecules. So this is what our 4 modules stand for, and this is the relative impact of it.
Thank you. Thank you. While the presentation is good,
Thank
but
you.
the forum is not for funding, so we'll leave that question
Yes.
outside of this forum. But if there are any questions from anyone, we will take it.
Hi, my question is related, one is related to the accuracy. So when you say record summarization, right, are the clinical notes or the prescription, so how accurate is your tool in order to extract the data? Second question is related to the clinical trial matching. So when you say you are, you have all the 4 modules, for example, if Yashoda takes it, they'll have all the 4 modules. But clinical trial matching has to be done with a clinical trial protocol, right? So the protocol is with the CROs. So how do you extract the inclusion-exclusion criteria from there and match it with the patient's EHR or the data which is lying inside the hospital?
Okay. I will give you the answer in phase-wise manner. First one is, how about the accuracy? We are targeting 90% of the accuracy. We are not aiming for, and we are not going to claim for 95 plus accuracy with our modules, but because of the unstructured nature of, and as I'm assuming that you are oncologist, cancer being very diverse in its own nature, we are not going to claim 95% accuracy. We are claiming just 90% accuracy at our initial phase deployment. Maybe after a year, we will be in the position, after deployment of 1 year, we will be in the position to say that our accuracy will increase to 92 to 93%. And to answer your second question, how exactly we are going to integrate the clinical trial protocols, our models, when we say NLP model, natural learning processing models, those will be trained on the similar trial. There will be one format of the cancer where we will be fetching the already existing clinical trial all over the globe. And even if we find the data for Indian clinical trial, that will serve as the input, or what we generally in machine learning platform call as a training data. So similar fashion to start with, we will start with the clinical trials which are already existing in clinical trials repositories. For example, clinicaltrial.gov or European EMA related repositories. We will train our model from that publicly available data. If we are fortunate enough to get the data, real-time data for clinical trials already conducting irrespective of the hospital or CRO association, then that serves as the something to be call ourselves lucky. But there has to be something to start with to train our models, and our accuracy will increase, as I mentioned earlier. Federal learning, once we get the real-time data, then model will learn this is what exactly is scenario in real time. So that's how we are going to incorporate this. But we need clinical trial data, which is already published, to be fed.
Thank you.
I have 2 questions. First is, okay, one question. So SAS as a model, operational model, is getting outdated.
Yeah.
right? There is a lot of, because of the agents and data security. In this situation, if you want to deploy a SaaS model, the private data of a hospital or multiple hospitals will come to your platform, correct? So I'm just trying to provoke you. Why are you professing a SaaS model? Why not do on-prem deployment with all the data security, and so it becomes a property of the hospital rather than the data coming to the SaaS model?
I'm actually glad somebody asked this question. Because of the lack of the word which we can call it, I can call it an intelligence platform. It's not the SaaS deployment because it's very organization specific. It's very hospital specific. So it's definitely not SaaS. We cannot generalize that.
Don't use the word SaaS.
Yeah,
It's a
I'll take that
misleading word.
recommendation. Definitely. You're bang on.
Okay.
Yeah.